Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubrali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Police issue arrest warrant for Montreal man in apparent joyride through one mall. Man wanted in assault of woman in Markham choked, robbed another woman in Scarborough. Police. Child and a man in serious condition following collision in Forest Hill. Two arrested, $8.9 million worth of cocaine seized in York region drug bust. Two people taken to hospital after apartment fire in Leslieville. Justice Minister says federal government giving bail reform serious consideration. Syrian Canadians devastated by earthquake mourn loved ones who were killed. Those were the headlines, and let's jump right into the details. A man wanted for allegedly assaulting a woman in Markham is also being sought by Toronto police after a woman was choked and robbed in Scarborough. Police said the incident happened in the area of Brimley Road and Lawrence Avenue East just after midnight on February 2nd. A woman was walking along when an unknown man approached her from behind, police said. The man allegedly choked the woman before robbing her of her cell phone. On Thursday, police released images of the suspect asking the public's help identifying him. He's described as 5'10" with a medium build and was last seen wearing a dark-colored coat, hat, gloves, boots, and light-colored pants. It is believed that York Regional Police investigating a similar incident involving the same man, Toronto police said. Justice Minister David Lametti says he's giving serious consideration to reforming Canada's bail laws in response to a request from premiers to make changes. Provincial premiers unanimously called on the Liberal government in a letter to take immediate action on the bail system earlier this year. The letter from the premiers says there are a growing number of calls for changes to prevent accused people who are out on bail from committing further criminal acts. Premiers called on the federal government to establish a reverse onus system for specific firearm offences that would require the person seeking bail to demonstrate why they should not remain behind the bars. During a speech to the Canadian Bar Association on Thursday, Lametti said the proposed reforms would be discussed at a coming meeting with the provincial justice ministers. He said the province's proposal to introduce a reverse onus system for certain firearm offences was getting serious consideration from the Liberal government. The federal Conservatives have been pressing the government to toughen up access to bail for repeat offenders, particularly in cases that involve firearms. Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre argues Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's approach to crime has been too soft, allowing individuals who pose a danger to society to be released into the community. Poilievre is pushing the Trudeau government to reverse a law it passed in 2019 that updated bail provisions in the criminal code. Known as Bill C-75, it codified a principle of restraint that had been affirmed in a 2017 Supreme Court case emphasizing release of detainees at the earliest reasonable opportunities and on the least onerous conditions based on the circumstances of the case. Police were also granted more power to place conditions on accused individuals to streamline the bail process and reduce the number of needed court appearances. It also required judges to consider the circumstances of people who are Indigenous or from vulnerable populations. In addition to the meeting with officials from Canada's National Police Union, Lametti said he spoke with his counterparts from British Columbia, Newfoundland, and Labrador this week on the bail reform. Lametti said misinformation about bail is being spread. There are those who choose to stoke fear for political gain rather than advancing any viable policies that will address the specific and narrow issues we face. In an apparent dig at Poilievre's frequent assertion that everything is broken, Lametti said Canada remains the envy of the world. Following Lametti's speech, the Bar Association members voted on resolutions. Chief Justice of Canada Richard Warner spoke to members about improving gender diversity on Canada benches and about how courtrooms will continue to become more accessible and tech-friendly following innovations spurred by the COVID-19 pandemic. Aya Hamoud has been struggling to cope after 7 members of her family were killed in the earthquake that has devastated parts of Syria. The Toronto resident said her grandfather, his wife, her 4 cousins, and their mother died when the quake destroyed their apartment building in the Syrian city of Haram. Hamoud, who came to Canada as a refugee in 2017, said the last few days have been really hard. I don't know what coping is at this moment, the 24-year-old said in a phone interview. I'm feeling this much sadness and despair. Most of my family died. Hamoud said rescue teams recovered the bodies of her grandfather and his wife on Wednesday, and the bodies of her cousins, all children and their mother, were pulled from the rubble on Thursday. The eldest kid is 13 years old. Her name is Hea. She is a very smart girl. She's special. She did not deserve to be under the rubble for 3 days, Hamoud said, and also her siblings Sarah, Hussein, Ode. The deaths came after her grandmother and uncle were killed in a bombing in Syria's ongoing war several years ago, Hamoud added. Another aunt and her children who lived nearby managed to escape their home when the quake hit, said Hamoud, and as did her mother and siblings who live in a different city. Local rescue teams prioritized trying to pull survivors from destroyed buildings where they could hear voices under the rubble. Hamoud said a situation that left her wondering if more could have been done to save her family. Hamoud said she was trying to channel her grief into efforts to urge people to donate to earthquake relief efforts. Monday's 7.8 magnitude earthquake, followed by several powerful aftershocks, ravaged parts of southeastern Turkey and northwest Syria, killing more than 20,000 people and destroying thousands of buildings. 2 men have been taken to the hospital with serious injuries following an overnight fire at an apartment building in Leslieville. Firefighters were called to a 4-story building at 502 Eastern Avenue near Logan Avenue around 2:47 a.m. When they arrived, they were met with heavy black smoke at the second-floor unit. They smashed down the door to get into the apartment and were able to knock down the fire. Toronto Paramedic Services said they transported 2 men to hospital for smoke inhalation. Both were in a serious condition. Firefighters said that they continue to do salvage and overhaul at the scene and to make sure that there's no residual heat. It is not yet clear how the fire started. York Regional Police have arrested 2 Richmond Hill residents and seized almost $9 million worth of cocaine following a drug trafficking investigation dubbed Project Aries. The investigation began in September after police learned of 2 suspects believed to be in possession of large quantities of cocaine. In January, search warrants have executed at a Vaughan storage locker and at a residence in Richmond Hill where the 2 suspects were arrested. Officers seized $8.9 million worth of cocaine, $260,000 in cash, and $100,000 in luxury clothing. York Regional Police released a video of the seized items on Thursday showing dozens of bags of cocaine in stacks of $50 and $100 bills. Alicia Coco, 30, and William Funk, 39, have been charged with possession for the purpose of trafficking and possession of proceeds of crime. Police say Project Aries is ongoing and are asking anyone with information to contact the York Regional Police Major Projects Bureau at 1-866-876-5423 extension 6970 or Crime Stoppers anonymously. Toronto paramedics say a child and a man have been taken to hospital in serious condition after a 3-vehicle collision in Forest Hill on Thursday morning. Toronto police say the collision happened at Bathurst Street and Ava Road just after 8:30 a.m. Footage from the scene showed a red SUV and a white SUV, both with significant driver's side damage. A third vehicle, a black Subaru, appeared to have more minor damage. So far, the circumstances leading up to the collision are unclear. Bathurst Street was closed both ways from Eglinton Avenue West to Ava Road, but has since reopened. Police have issued a Canada-wide arrest warrant for a Montreal man in connection with apparent joyride through a Vaughan shopping mall and stolen vehicle last week. The incident happened at Vaughan Mills in the early hours of February 1st. Surveillance footage previously released by police showed a 2011 black Audi A4 going through one of the mall's closed entrances at a high rate of speed and then being driven erratically through a number of hallways in the shopping center. Police have said that the vehicle eventually stopped at an electronics store where two suspects stole a quantity of items. They then got back into the vehicle and drove it through the mall and out another entrance. Police say the vehicle had been previously stolen from a woman in Quebec on January 29, CP24 has reported. It was eventually found abandoned near James Snow Parkway and Highway 401 in Oakville. In a news release issued on Thursday, police identified one of the wanted parties as 19-year-old Israel Mwamba. Police, however, said that investigators are still working to identify the second suspect. Mwamba is encouraged to seek legal counsel and turn himself in. Investigators are reminding the public that anyone who is or has assisted the suspect may be subject to criminal charges, police said in their release. Police say that Mwamba is wanted on 6 charges, including theft over $5,000 and dangerous driving. He is described as a black male who is about 6'3" in height and weighs approximately 150 pounds.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel.